Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well today. Welcome. It is Wednesday. It is the day after the CPI report, and we have a few things to talk about, right? Based on that CPI report, we talked a little about it yesterday, but we're going to talk about the Fed a little more. We're going to talk about some inflationary aspects. We're going to talk about mainly levels, right? Because we continue to trade in the overall same range as we did over the past few days here, right? Some of the bulls, some of the bears they fought yesterday, but overall, the distribution block remained intact, and there was a lot of opportunity from the tops and the bottoms of those areas. So why don't we dive into this right now? First and foremost, right, bumpy disinflation, right, a mixed inflation report that resulted in a mixed day in the overall indices, right? We flip-flopped from the lows of the distribution to the tops of the distribution and vice versa. Following the release of the Consumer Price Index report, the Dow Jones and the S&P finished a choppy session on Tuesday, marginally red, while the Nasdaq posted a modest advance, with a lot of tech names actually holding their ground, right? And a lot of those tech names are in a position for an actual breakout and continuation to the upside. So that's something that you have to understand as well. When we're looking at semis are really strong. Apple's fairly strong. Semis, if they break out, it's going to be hard to be bearish on the market with a strong semis market. So it comes as investors debated direction of the Fed after the upcoming meeting in March. And the probability of changes in the U.S. monetary policy. On display is a headline CPI figure that inched slightly down 6.4% year over year in January, marking the seventh straight month of easing inflation and cooling, right? Cooling is moderate, with CPI rising 0.5% month over month compared to the previous increase in December of 0.1%. Now, also, the Federal Reserve probabilities of a 25 basis point hike actually increased based on yesterday's report, and the 50 basis point hike chances decreased. So something interesting to take a look at. Even though the report, yes, it did ease on a month over month perspective, right? From the year over year numbers, I should say, it's still higher than the expected, right? But it's curving over. The inflation is topping out, and they're continuously printing softer and softer numbers. Now, central bank, right? It's on it's making news again, naturally, because we just saw Lael Brainerd leaves the number 2 role at the Federal Reserve to head up the National Economic Council. In her new position, she'll coordinate economic policy making across the executive branches amid a battle over the debt ceiling, and could possibly entertain an even bigger role in the near future. While she was passed over once to become Fed chair, following high stakes interviews at the White House, the new move could put her within reach of the top spot. So maybe that's the new Fed chair, Lael Brainerd, and or becoming a future Treasury Secretary like Janet Yellen, as she builds rapport with Biden's administration and his inner circle. So monetary policy going forward, Brainerd was known as the most dovish member of the Federal Open Market Committee, urging a somewhat less aggressive approach in the fight against inflation, and she had advocated for slowing the pace of intensity of rate hikes, providing a counterweight to the spectrum of policy, especially when compared to the FOMC hawks, quote unquote, like Kashkari and Waller. Also, Bullard, I was going to call him Barrard. I forgot his name. While President Biden could also nominate a new vice chair, which has a similar stance. It may not be as easy to appoint to forge policy consensus through persuasion compared to the institutional respect that Brainerd received by serving at the Fed's board since 2014. So a slight shift here. One of the Hawks is gone. If they get replaced with, one of the Doves is gone. If they get replaced by a Giga Hawk, we could actually see even a turn in the policy in the Federal Reserve. So Morgan Stanley strategist also nailed the 2022 bear market calls and says that stocks are about to disconnect from reality, as it's been during this bear market. And the lows of the market won't come until late spring, but instead sell it all strategy, right? So we'll see how that shapes up, because Morgan Stanley calling bear, Wells Fargo calling a new bull market. Everyone is very, very mixed up with whatever's going on. And this next move is going to be very pivotal. I thought we'd get a little more understanding of the next move based on what happened with the CPI report. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And we'll see. We need more data, and we'll see how this market shapes up. So we're at very key pivotal levels. To the downside, the bulls are going to attempt to hold the bottom end of the distribution. Let me open up a chart here so I can not lie to you. So the bulls, they're going to try to hold out the bottom end of the distribution, which comes in at 41.05, right? There's a level at 41.17 or so that held really well here pre-market for the time being. But you have to understand where that massive midpoint of this distribution block is at that 41.32, which is an area that we can use as a pivot, right? It's going to be very difficult for the bulls to get above that, right? If they do, there's going to be more upside. But as it stands, we're kind of in the bottom edge of that distribution. We'll need to see bullish activity try to rebid this if we're going to continue higher. So I'm going to be looking for something like that. I want to see if the bulls can continue this momentum that they've been shaping up, especially if you take a look at tech names. They're really, really on the verge of breaking out, which obviously can be a little trap and a reversal. But it's very pivotal to see where we close on the S&P this week, right? Ideally, it's above or below this distribution block, so below 4,100 or above 41, like 68.70. So keep that in mind as we get ready for the day, right? Happy Wednesday, midweek, and we'll see what we get today, tomorrow, so on and so forth. And remember, check us out at community.tradeproacademy.com for the Discord, the free Discord, or you can come just check us out in the live room and our Discord room, Trade Pro Academy. Just go to the website and check that out. Got a 7-day money back guarantee. Over the past few weeks, we have been really nailing these areas. So no surprise. I'll see you there soon, and keep a close eye on what's to come, because we do have a new futures course coming out, and it'll be coming out fairly soon. So take that into consideration, and we will chat soon. Let me know if you have any questions, and take care. Sunny Toronto, Stephen, this is very, very far from Toronto. I am not in Toronto. I am in Tenerife. So very sunny Tenerife. It's an island off the coast of Africa, the Western Sahara. Hope everyone is enjoying their weather, whether it's good or bad. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you and take care.